What is the difference between crushing and falling in love? I often get asked this question by men and women of all ages. And it seems like an easy question at first glance, especially for a dating coach, right? Love versus infatuation. A crush versus true love. It seems like this is a question we ask when we're 12 years old, and it's a question that's answered quickly. Maybe a little too quickly. A crush is physical, just lust and attraction. True love is forever, it's based on getting to know a person and admiring who they really are inside. And that seems like a good answer, especially when you're 12 years old. But as you get older you realize love has got to be more complicated than that. Infatuation feels like love, no matter how old you are. How many stories have we read about people who fell in love with a person's physical appearance at first sight and remained faithful to them to the very end? Salvador Dali and Michael Caine come to mind if you want to do some incidental back reading. On the other hand, you can love a person who is bad for you, who is an emotional train wreck, and fall headfirst into a dysfunctional relationship for years on end. It's not infatuation. It is a form of love or obsession, but it's far from the true love you always read about in fairy tales, isn't it? What is crushing? Here's something that's simple and obvious. A crush is a temporary feeling. You can feel lust or a crush just looking at a cute guy walking in the mall. The image of him, that smile he gives you, might last for hours, even days. It doesn't mean it's love or obsession. The reason being, you can forget him over time. He's attractive. When he talks to you, maybe your heart pounds and you feel butterflies in your stomach. But if you don't pursue it and he doesn't pursue it, he is forgotten. Crushes are like that. They are not emotional at all, but purely sexual or physical. Some people might even have crushes on the same sex, and yet not be bisexual or gay. That's how capricious crushing on someone feels. What is falling in love? Now, falling in love often starts as infatuation but quickly becomes a matter of the heart. You are now emotionally involved with the other person, probably because you've interacted with him and have come to know him personally, intellectually, and perhaps even physically. Falling in love with a person does not mean that this is true love. Rather, you have made the decision to love someone, and so your crush has progressed into a full-blown romance. If he reciprocates, the physical relationship will soon begin. As you come to know each other, love develops. As you discover new relationships, you will start to recognize differences between come and go crushes and falling in love. Here are 10 differences you will notice immediately. 1. Crushes are voluntary. You can forget someone you lust. When you fall in love, it will not feel like a choice. It will feel involuntary, like a need, or a compulsion you cannot avoid. 2. Infatuation is purely limited to sex and how it affects your ego. Love is all about the bonding of personalities, of souls, of the inner self, you rarely show to other people. 3. Crushes are usually far-fetched fantasies, many of which are impossible or highly unlikely in the real world. Love is definitely real, and something you could have if you work for it and want it enough. 4. You can crush on 10 guys at a time. It's very difficult to love more than one guy at a time, and probably impossible to love 2 or 3 guys equally. You always tend to love one more than the other because you give the one you love all your time and effort. 5. Your crush tends to make you nervous and anxious. The one you love actually makes you feel relaxed because you are on the same wavelength, and you are similar in the way you communicate. 6. Crushes, and the fantasies that go along with them, are a little too perfect. Love is imperfect, but it remains strong and consistent, even in the real world, and even after disappointment. 7. When you crush on someone you see what you want to see in them, the image of them, so to speak. When you're in love, you see the actual person, you observe them, get to know them, and learn them. That's why you fall in love. 8. You can grow to love a person you're not attracted to. Crushes are all about attraction, and temporary attraction at that. Love is so powerful it can be beyond physical attraction. 9. Crushes quickly disappear as soon as you learn one thing that goes against the fantasy you've created in your mind. Love grows stronger, regardless of the unexpected. 10. And lastly, crushes have a much shorter life than falling in love. Crush on dozens of guys all year, but truly love maybe a few for every lifetime. What is true love? Now remember, as we talked about, falling in love does not mean this is your one true love. That's an altogether different subject, because true love is based on the positive feelings that a partner gives you. When you are truly happy and your partner allows you to find that happiness, that's true love. Trying to love someone that only makes you anxious and miserable is far from true love, even though you choose to fall in love with that person. That's why it's important to love yourself and learn yourself before you go about trying to create a loving relationship. Real love thrives when you know what you want in a mate and have figured out what you need to be happy, alone and with a partner. As you continue to read our blog weekly, please look for an upcoming article continuing this discussion about ways to tell obsession from true love.